What is going on, you guys? It's your boy, the bullshitter whisperer here, and we're back with episode 69 of the video game therapy series. A very important milestone indeed. Episode 69, I am a child. Yeah, I would like to thank me because I'm the only person that goes into the production and creation of these videos, and one could argue that the entire world, modern life, and everyone is an active hindrance to me making these. But I make a point to myself to do something like this. I'm not exactly sure why. Perhaps there's a divine force at play making me make these videos. Or it's just some level of attachment or delusion that forces me to do this. And I suppose I could thank Minecraft, but honestly, I'm not, I don't know, proprietary software. Anyway, yeah, let's get into the topics today. I could have some interesting ones. Let's see where to start. Oh man, I suppose in the interest of thanking things, here's some things I'm not going to thank. I think one could get the impression from my videos that I am a I don't know, free market capitalist or a I don't know, hyper libertarian or something. I'm not even really sure. I think honestly it might just be askew with anyone who promotes Libre software and or has any kind of background in free software or subscribes to that kind of philosophy that they tend to have, I don't know, a specific subset of economic viewpoints. And on the one hand, I don't know. I don't give a fuck about the economy. I don't spend much time. I mean, I spend some amount of time thinking about society at large, but less about, I'll say, macroeconomic conditions and other shit that economists talk about. But for one thing, Jesus, what is going on over here? I certainly am not this. I don't believe in this invisible hand of the free market, and we should do what the free market guides. And that also doesn't mean I'm a commie either. I can't believe that there's just seems to be no middle ground between economic systems you subscribe to. You're either this like super, government should all burn and destroy, or everybody should be on this, I don't know, dystopian UBI or some bullshit. Surely there's a really just, well, you can think of two economic theories. Oh, there's socialism. That's just like half and half. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that I have some grand plan master, but is it fair to say that I think all of them are deeply flawed? And I think the problem that I see is when people, well, look at you. You're playing Minecraft on this computer, and this is, you're able to record your voice and post it on this big platform. You have capitalism to thank for all of this, or that's like saying I have slavery to thank for heated floors or something like that. It's like I have to applaud slavery because I like technically, yes, I am using advancements that would not have been possible without slave labor. I'm not going to thank slavery. Fuck you. That's kind of the way I look at it, is like, no, I'm not going to thank. And just because capitalism isn't, and I realize I'm ruffling feathers here with people who, I don't know, my definition of capitalism here is very loose, and maybe not capitalism per se, but the extreme financialization of all markets, which I'm seeing happen increasingly as time goes on. And I suppose that is as a result of, I guess, capitalist ideas. I don't really know. Again, capitalism as a system is very vaguely defined, like socially and like literally. So I feel like even just saying the word capitalism, people just get all pissed off about something, and they're either on your side, like, man, fuck capitalism, we should all be, living in these, no, I'm not. I'm not arguing for any alternative. I'm not a commie by any stretch of the imagination. I'm certainly not going to thank a hyper financialized system because I am reaping rewards of it. Just like I'm not going to thank slavery for something, and that's kind of a ridiculous extrapolation. I understand that, but at a very basic levels, it's not apples to oranges per se. Now, and I don't know. I don't want to get into a debate of the merits of different economic systems because quite honestly, I don't give a fuck. I am so insignificant and every every measurable manner that even if I had some grand opinion, nobody fucking cares. And even if I had all the solutions and I could draw it up on a napkin or a fucking it wouldn't matter. It's not gonna, like, I don't, me debating anything is not going to solve any problems. Now sure, it might be a helpful like thought exercise, but so is, there's all kinds of stuff that is an effective thought exercise. I like I said before, I think I don't think about killing myself a lot, like the logistics of it, but I think about a world without me in it. I think about my own mortality, not in the sense that I want to kill myself, but if I were not around, what would happen? And that kind of, again, it leads you to some sobering conclusions, like probably nothing. I mean, the world, you'd get like a LinkedIn post or something, or an email, or, someone would, sure, there'd be a funeral or something. But beyond that, most people, would probably forget that you exist and no one would care. They might think, oh, whatever happened to that guy? Oh yeah, he died. That would be kind of it, which again, it's kind of sad, but I still think it is a useful thought exercise to at least consider the world without you in it. In the same way, it might be somewhat useful, in quotes, to consider the economic system despite being a little powerless fucking drone in the larger scheme of things, because that's ultimately all I am. Is I really have no choice, right? So I don't think the arguments, oh, well, fine, go live in the woods somewhere. It's probably legal, actually, for me to go live in the woods, because there's some law that I have to, in order to be homeless in the woods and to do so, I have to have a license or some dumb shit. You'd be blown away at the amount of dumb shit you have to do anything legal anymore. They're almost asking you to either be a gajillionaire already or just break the law. And that's kind of why I don't really give a fuck about, I'm not saying I run around and break laws all the time, but I act in what I would find to be reasonable good interest of involved parties. Now, that doesn't mean I'm actively a douche to everybody like some people are. Well, it's legal. I don't give a fuck. Good and legality are mutually exclusive concepts, and that concept alone is somehow foreign to people. I don't really, you honest to God, think the law is this? No, the law is fucking stupid. So I'm going to make judgments that I think are right, whatever that fucking means to me, and whatever that means. So, and it, again, does it align with the law? Probably not, right? But that doesn't mean anything to me. And generally, especially if I'm not ruining shit for other people, I don't think it is an entirely bad thing. And because I'm so powerless and worthless, no one should even care. I mean, who fucking cares, right? I don't even know. So I don't know. I suppose that the point that I wanted to make was, I don't love, just in the same way I'm not a communist, I don't love our current economic system. I think it kind of sucks. But I also I'm not a huge proponent of some alternative. I'm not running around peddling some kind of socialism or something like that. I don't really know. I think there are other interesting ideas that I've heard of. Like one that I thought was interesting, which I would love to, I don't know, I guess, I hate using the word research, but think about a little more, is like this Georgism. I think that's what it's called. But it's really like, the only taxes that there are is this land value tax. And the idea being that you shouldn't be taxed on your own productivity. You should only be taxed on like stuff that should be universal to everyone, like what the land produces. So you get taxed on if you own land and your land produces food or whatever the fuck happens on your land, like land developments, that all causes that there's taxes there. But beyond that, there's no taxes on like productivity or food. Because, at a certain point, and I don't mean to be the guy who's bitching about taxes, but like, I mean, so your income is taxed once. And then anytime you buy anything, that's also taxed because of sales tax. And then there are applicable state tax. It's like they just add, there's like, at what point, I wonder what if you did the actual numbers of like, let's say like $100 of money that you make from your employer or whatever. And then we start, I guess going through all the taxes. How much of that is actually like money that you get, right? After, again, once you've deployed and spent the $100, because again, the income tax, that automatically cuts part out of it. And then there's sales tax, and there's taxes that are added to the products because of taxes that are imposed of tariffs, or if it's overseas product, that there's taxes there. So there's taxes inbuilt to every product's price already in addition to the sales tax they're already taxing you on. So at a certain point, I'm like, Jesus fuck, how many taxes are there? And when does it end? And I want to know I would like to know, out of curiosity, what the actual percentage is of money that is like, what's the underlying value in all this, the money that is being spent versus what's being taxed. And I don't know. I would wager that it might be close to 50%, meaning that 50% of it is burned on taxes. And not burned in the sense that, I mean, I guess in some sense, because I do hold the general belief that enormous institutions veer towards incompetence. And that is only because it takes one fool to, I guess, ruin the efforts of many, where the smaller something is, the less likely you are to have fools that ruin things. And with organizations that are enormous, tech companies, governments, you name it, the likelihood of there being these like 10x fools, like we've all heard of these 10x engineers and these people that, can, I don't even, are able to, but there are 10x morons too. Don't forget about that. And they can do inexplicably more damage than you're able to articulate. And the likelihood of them being anywhere increases as the organization's size increases. So I kind of have this belief, and I'm sure there's some law that some sociologist came up with this and had made it a funny name or whatever that indicates that large institutions, veer towards incompetency. But that's kind of how I see things too. I don't disagree with the notion that large things are generally incompetent. So I suppose, especially as larger things get, they become dumber. There's more fat, right? I suppose, to use that word. But anyway, yeah. So I don't know. The other thing I want to mention about, I guess this is just a larger view on economic ideas as a whole, because here's kind of my issue, and here's why I don't like to think about it that often, is because remember if you ever took a chemistry class, and even if you didn't, I'm sure you can imagine what I'm talking about here. You don't have to have had taken like a chemistry class. So you do a chemistry class and you're trying to be scientific. So you kind of measure twice, cut once, you try to measure things and weigh things out. And then you get to the experiments and you do the calculations and you got like 240% error or something absolutely obscene. It's like, what the fuck? I was trying to be scientific. We were measuring like one variable, because it's kind of what you want to do, is to isolate a variable so you can, decide whether or not you could see what happens. But then you get like this absurd error. And then, of course, in pure and true academic fashion, you attribute it to like crappy materials, or like our concentration of the chemical was really low, or the burner was too high, or we fucked up the temperature reading, whatever. We make some shit up. But imagine in an instance that we're trying to be scientific and we got some laughably horrible 200% error. Imagine what happens if we're speculating on economic systems that have billions of factors, and to use something as like heavy-handed as, oh well, this is the free market idea, supply and demand, baby. It's like, I don't think, no. In the same way that I'm not going to believe the results of my shitty experiment in chemistry, I can't just take it at face value that this one little super simple explanation is going to explain away, again, something with billions, not potentially, that has billions of parameters. And that's really what economic systems and I guess social systems are. They have literally billions of parameters. So the idea that you're able to just boil it down to like, well, it's a free market, we can just look at the free market and supply and demand will dictate the activity. Consumers are fucking stupid. They make decisions that are not only against their best interest, but against everybody's best interest. They're just like, they're saboteurs. I mean, I don't, I can't believe this is a foreign concept to people. It's not like rationality just doesn't exist. And that's, again, I've even advocated on behalf of irrationality to some extent. But the idea that we can kind of use heavy-handed logic around free market as some kind of solution. And same with, like, I don't know, it goes the same way for, I just call them commies, but really people who advocate for more government, whatever. It's kind of just as stupid, right? You're making these ridiculous jumps in assumptions. And that's kind of why maybe I'm more of a, I don't know, an individually minded person. I don't really have much faith in a collective of any kind, because, again, I think as things grow larger, they grow dumber. generally. You know, I haven't seen it like just a few of my videos get a couple hundred more views than they're used to. And I got like fucking children in my comment section. You know, like fucking, I'm a kid, get out of here. And, you know, makes you want to go back to the days where I'd have, you know, literally 3 views. It's me who watched it to make sure my audio didn't cut out. And like, you know, my brother and my friend, you know, for some kid, like who just, I'm not going to be able to explain. I'm not saying these concepts are going over his head. These concepts are going over his head. So he's not going to understand anything. So I don't know. So I don't know. Maybe that kind of reasons out why I tend to be more individually minded than others. But I surely don't. I kind of just bash on all of these economic systems, or even just not even systems. They're just theories that people have about things, right? Because even calling something like modern U.S. financial, I don't know, the modern U.S. economy as something like, oh, well, this is what capitalism looks like. I'm not even sure that it is, right? Because first off, what is capitalism? Are you saying that it's like it's private corporations owning whatever? Okay, well, do we really have that? Like, I mean, I would question this at multiple stages, right? You know, maybe it resembles more of an oligopoly or or private oligopoly. I don't even know. Like, again, I don't claim to be any kind of economist expert with any of this shit, and I actually hate talking about it because I feel like people who do know all the words and stuff have their own meanings for everything, and then they end up just talking to different people while talking to each other. It's just a whole waste. And again, there are quite literally billions of factors at play. And if my little shitty chemistry experiment is unable to isolate a single variable with less than 200% error, I have a little bit of suspicion that your broad economic theory of what, you know, American whatever is probably just as fucking inaccurate. It's probably infinitely more inaccurate. So at the best, it is like loose. It's reductionist, maybe. I'll say that at the best, it's a reductionist idea, and at the worst, it's just downright hypocrite. It's just wrong. It's just hypocritical. It's not even fucking close. So, I don't know. I have a lot of problems with people that spout off about economic theories about, oh, this is how it works. I mean, this is, if you don't understand free market, this is economics. You know, I don't know. I think it's maybe that's why I'm not a big proponent of I don't know, blabbering about economic theories and such, is that I have, Jesus Christ, trying to get in whatever. Anyway, so I'll move on to something else. Enough about economic theories. Let's see. Oh man. So customer support. I'm gonna touch on this briefly just because I know it's a fucking dead horse. Anybody who's dealt with any kind of customer support whatsoever probably wants to kill themselves, and that's fine. I understand that completely. I agree with you because it is horrible. But I mean, if you want to think about, I'm not talking about Silicon Valley shitty bullshit VC businesses. I'm talking about if you want to like legitimate good businesses that make actual products that do things correctly. Customer support should be your number one priority. It should have basically all your chickens and all your eggs, because user feedback for any kind of product is king. You know, if you're in good intent, if you're in good faith with your users, you give good communications with them, you understand their pain points deeply, and you create solutions for them. That is the key to any business. I'm not saying some new really religious gospel for that. That should be well known. But yeah, these enormous companies and airlines and whatever almost have like purposefully horrible customer support, these chatbots or whatever, almost because they know that they don't really care about your problems. They almost know that you don't have a choice and that you have to do whatever the fuck they want. Which I guess, again, I don't know if this speaks to back to the economic system and what, you know, whether or not it's this free market, because that would point squarely against it. Like, because again, it just, as someone who could be creating a business, I would hope that customer support would want to be in your best interest, because that's when you're directly interacting with customers and you're hearing their pain points, like they're calling you with their pain points. Literally, that's what you want. Like, this is like free in every sense of the word, it's feedback that they're giving directly to you that they want you to have to try to improve your product. And yeah, some people are dicks about it, but I guess that just comes with the territory. But still, wouldn't you want, like, if I were making a business that I wanted to be a legitimate, sustainable, not just some fucking bullshit thing. If I want to be a legitimate, sustainable, strong business, I would invest heavily into customer support would be like 50% of my staff probably, because they and people who are smart and empathetic and can understand what the fuck these people are talking about. Because that's how your whole business is to design solutions for customers' pain points, not just make bullshit products and sell to people. And I guess that's why I kind of am very soured on the whole, just all of these modern companies. They just build shit and they don't give a fuck because they're just going to feed it to sheep. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's a little too cynical with lowercase c, but it just seems, uppercase c too, actually. But it just seems a little dark that customer support seems to be such an afterthought for so many companies. When, if thinking from business fundamentals, it should be the diamond. It should be like the key selling point is like premier customer support. And again, companies kind of follow a similar trajectory with this a lot, where in the beginning they're like doing exactly what I'm saying. They're always about the customer, and then they kind of reach this critical mass, or maybe a critical mass of VC people and their private equity people, and then it just becomes a fucking McDonald's again. So I don't know, maybe it has to do with the size, and that's partially why I don't like such large large corporations or large conglomerates of things. And I'm sure I'm sorry, I have Amazon to thank for cheap toilet paper, whatever. No, I don't. Amazon's products suck. I would rather pay double. I'm probably already am paying double to the fucking, some mom and pop shop down the street selling me the same fucking garbage. And I don't know. I just don't think, I'm not very optimistic about, I don't know, the state of current economic affairs, but that's just me. But I actually hate talking about that too, because everybody just beats that horse to death. And, yeah, I'm no different. What am I going to do? Just complain about it. Oh, yeah. I feel better for about 5 minutes after complaining about it. I got my thoughts out into the void. And now I should shut up about it and talk about something perhaps more interesting. Or at least, I don't know, not so aggravating with truly no solution out. So I'm going to move on. This is kind of another funny thought. And this is, again, more about the modern sociology of things. I wear shorts pretty much year round, and depending on where I'm living at the time, it can get pretty cold. And even if it's snowing, I kind of only own shorts. I don't really own much else. And I'll wear shorts every time, and I don't really care. It's just kind of comfortable. I got, my legs don't fit into a lot of modern things. I'm not overweight. I just, sounds like more weight. No, I squat a lot. All right, I do a lot of squats. My legs are pretty big, but I wear shorts all the time, especially when it's cold. And I get all the time. I'm outside, even just strangers when I'm just running by, or not running by, walking by. They go, "Oh boy, aren't you cold?" And I used to give an answer when I was a kid. It's like, "Oh no, I'm not cold. Oh, my legs just don't get cold," and that's not exactly true. My legs, I do get cold. But the difference is, I don't care. I will be outside. This is a 5-minute walk. I'm going to be outside for 5 minutes. If I can't handle being cold, my legs being cold for 5 minutes, kill me. I mean, what the hell? I can't. Is it illegal? Is it such a heretical thing to be cold for 5 minutes? Like, it's not like it'd be one thing if I was sitting outside in a parade or some dumb shit like that, and I was the whole time I had whatever. I should probably just use my auto farming feature instead of this. That's really stupid. Whatever. It'd be one thing if I was outside for 10 hours and I obviously probably want to put pants on then, but no, 5 minutes I can't just be cold. I mean, what is this? What do I have at all times? I have to be this maximum state of comfort. I mean, doesn't it seem a little problematic to have this mentality of, like, I just need to be full. I can't vindicate comfort for 5 minutes just to I don't know, just be human a little bit and feel something. I mean, I don't know. I just, yeah, I'm cold, but I don't care. I'm walking to the gym, and I'll be in the gym, and I'll be warm again, and you know, and then I'll just walk faster because I'm cold. So yes, I'm cold, but do I need? Is it imperative that I'm just warm and fuzzy all the time? Like, no, I don't need to be comfortable 24/7. I mean, if I feel like that just is a rabbit hole of, I don't know, a very materialist consumerist mindset to be in this constant state of comfort. Oh, I'm hungry. I want this. Ooh, I could use a drink right now. Ooh, this sounds really good. Just jumping towards all this. Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. Fucking relax. I'll be cold for 5 minutes. Great. It's not a problem. Okay. I've been more uncomfortable for longer. So 3 minutes of a walk outside in the cold is not going to kill me. And if it does, I probably deserve to die if I can't be outside for 10 fucking minutes in the cold. So, yes, I'm cold, but I truly, honest to God, do not care. So, I don't know. Yes, I'm cold, but I don't care. Switching topics again. And this actually goes back to what I started this whole video on. I suppose it might be easy to consider my viewpoints on things to be pessimistic. And you would consider the opposite of what I say to be optimistic. But I would argue that that's not true. I'm not pessimistic. And I don't consider myself pessimistic at all, actually. And now, I guess it's first important for me to define what the hell I'm talking about. So, and how I define pessimism and optimism, which I agree they're antonyms. I'm not agreeing that they're anything different. Pessimism is that you expect bad things to happen. Optimism is that you expect good things to happen. And it's not that I don't wholeheartedly expect bad things to happen. I am aware that they might happen. And I would consider a more accurate word for what I believe to be maybe a pessimistic hopeful, right? Because I'm hopeful that I see solutions for the way out, so to speak. But I don't expect the good things to happen. Just in the same way I don't expect the whole world to blow up, right? And sure, I might maybe lean my discussion towards the expecting bad things to happen purely for argumentative reasons, right? So I can, I don't know, try to come to interesting or novel conclusions, assuming the worst kind of thinking. But I'm certainly not expecting the world to blow up. I'm hopeful that, that they won't, and things can go on or things can improve. In the same way, I might sound very pessimistic by the state of technology, but I honestly think with improved tech literacy across the board, it's possible for things. I'm not saying it's probable. I'm saying it's possible for things to turn around. And honestly, I this is where I might try to put some faith in more into the collective here. Is I think after a certain point, and we've seen this throughout history too, and maybe I hope our modern peoples aren't so docile. People can have enough, and they can revolt. And I'm not. I guess maybe I am like predicting some kind of revolution, but I think at a certain point, people will be sick of it. And I myself became. I was sick of it and done. And I have actually kind of adopted a lot of this as I do as I told a commenter on a video. I do a lot of things out of spite now, especially with technology. And how, I don't know, how evil a lot of the patterns are in these apps, and log in to see these cookie banners. Like it's a fucking shit show, and I refuse. And I will go so far, purely out of just spite for the fact that they're making me do this. Like, again, companies that or websites or whatever that put all their content behind paywalls or cookie banners or logins and all that stuff. Fuck you. I will go to inexplicable lengths to ruin whatever you're trying to do with this because you deserve it. And I have no sympathy for you whatsoever. So don't ever underestimate my spite, because my spite knows no bounds. And I suppose I am hopeful, perhaps not optimistic. I'm hopeful that other people can eventually reach the same level of bitterness as me. And I'm not saying I want people to be bitter per se, but I want people to be predisposed to taking hold and perhaps doing things out of spite. And I think there's enough, with enough time, perhaps people will, I don't know, conjure up enough collective spite to turn some of this stuff around. And obviously my skew on this skews more towards technology, only because that's kind of what I know shit about. But I'm sure in every industry there are evils that are occurring at some rate. Now, I would just argue, again, perhaps biasedly, but would argue that there's a lot worse trajectory to look at when we're talking about technology and its associated, perils, versus anything else, only because technology is rapidly advancing over every facet of every industry. So it kind of affects everything. Even if you're not a technologist, it's still your problem, because your industry is probably using technology, and if it isn't, it will be soon. So even like, doctor's offices or something, I don't even know, manual labor, laying bricks or something. All of this is still even taken over by technology. So you, I guess, being blissfully unaware or not caring because I'm not technology, it doesn't affect me. It will, because we're everywhere, right? Whereas I could say with more confidence that, accounting might be disjointed from, the problems with accounting aren't this like worldwide problem that's going to destroy every industry. It's a lot, the doomer pitch there isn't nearly as powerful as it would be with technology, only because, open your eyes. It's pretty obvious. And I guess that's kind of hand wavy, but I'm not really going to bother trying to explain why I think technology is prevalent to everything and why problems in technology are cling to every industry and affect you regardless. I don't know. So anyway, I just think I'm hopeful that at a certain critical point or threshold, enough people will, Jesus Christ, enough people will grow so bitter towards the state of modern affairs that they will choose to revolt. That's kind of what I've done. So I have just kind of rejected all of these, especially with proprietary software tooling, all this other, just even stuff that's just shitty user experience. I will just go out of my way to avoid using that out of spite. It's not because it's more convenient or even cheaper. No, I just don't want to do that. Fuck you. It's almost more out of spite towards a company than any kind of user convenience feature that that might have been the draw otherwise. So I don't know. Just don't underestimate my spite. And I think I wouldn't say that I'm pessimistic. I think I lean pessimistic, but I'm still hopeful. I'm not doomer in the sense that we should just give up and I don't even know, I'm not even sure what the alternative is. Now, I'm not advocating ever for giving up. That's not what I'm saying. I'm hopeful, but I see it going negatively. But I think people aren't, at a certain point, people can get their heads out of their asses and will, move towards the right solution. Hopefully. I don't know. I have to kind of believe that. Otherwise, what else is there? So if I just give up on all that, then I'm a fucking, whatever. I suppose thinking about being a doomer, and I'm not saying I'm a doomer. I'm just saying thinking about doomerist ideology. Thinking about the actions I take on a daily basis. And I was thinking about this because, again, I've mentioned this consistently. I go to the gym a lot, and at a certain point, I have to question whether or not I go to the gym because I don't go to the gym and work out because I genuinely enjoy the act of doing it, because I don't. If I could get the same results by sitting on my ass and doing literally nothing, I probably would. If they said, if you could look the same you do and feel the same and get the same results, the same energy, everything was identical, if it was just a pill, would you take it with ice cream or something? I'd be like, probably, assuming, of course, that this is legitimate. It wasn't some fucking fairy dust that they're peddling, because that's where they'll get you is, take this testosterone supplement. Which I suppose testosterone is probably the closest thing to a magic pill there. But regardless, no, I would not. If I wouldn't have to do it, I wouldn't. I do it because it's a difficult thing. It's hard. And I think that is healthy. I think people need to be doing hard stuff. I don't care what it is, what stage of life or whatever. You need to be doing difficult things, because ultimately you need to be, used to doing difficult things such that you can, the world is not easy. No matter how much you want to cotton ball everything, the world is not easy. So doing difficult things makes you better at doing anything, because things are inherently not easy. No matter how easy we want to make them, the world will still make them more difficult, or we will make them more difficult, or whatever. I think it's dumb to try to avoid doing hard things because they're hard. You should want to do hard things because it's good for you. You know, it's like eating vegetables. I just as much as the next guy would like to eat fucking Snickers bars versus vegetables, but no, I want to eat vegetables. And honestly, there's a certain, I don't know if it's like a virtue signaling thing, but to myself, that is, vegetables actually taste pretty good after a while. You start eating them a lot, because you're like, man, I'm eating vegetables. This is good. I'm healthy. Fuck yeah, I'm healthy. I'm eating vegetables. And then you're like, man, vegetables aren't even that bad. And then, now I kind of just can crave some cooked vegetables, it's pretty good. But of course, if I let myself eat sugar more, I would be delicious, but I kind of avoid doing that. But anyway, so I've started thinking about, okay, why am I doing any of this shit then? If it's not if I don't enjoy doing it, it's not great. Yeah, because it's difficult and it's hard. But part of it is, I think when I don't go to the gym for a week, sometimes I'll take a week off because my body needs it, my joints and not even my muscles can actually get pretty destroyed. Like my hamstrings, I do not take it easy on my hamstrings at all. I tear those bad babies up. I think part of what gets to me in taking time away from exercises is just the self-loathing part of it. And I don't know if I just have a stronger inkling towards self-loathing in general, but avoiding difficult things, or even difficult things in general. It's not even exercise. Exercise is just a good example of one, but avoiding difficult things just creates such a powerful sense of self-loathing within me that I'm beginning to question whether or not my actions are for the betterment of myself or to do whatever, or is just to limit self-loathing. Are all my actions just to limit the amount of self-loathing I feel? And so there are certainly days where I feel like that might be the case. I'm not doing anything out of enjoyment or because it's good, or I'm just doing it so I hate myself less. And I suppose that's one way to frame doing anything. I suppose this is, again, maybe a very existential, lowercase c, cynical, existential philosophy of, all actions are to limit self-loathing. Even if it's just a temporary thing, because even hedonic actions, food, sleep, and sex and whatever, could all be considered under the fact that at that moment, the self-loathing is unbearable enough for you to engage in something is unsustainable, but simply because self-loathing is too powerful for that. And I suppose this really depends on, I'm not going to say gaslighting yourself, but a certain number of people they seem so blissfully out of touch with any amount of deep. I don't know. Maybe it's just a measure of, I'm not going to say stupidity because that's kind of rude, but some people maybe they're so stupid that they can't help, but they don't even know what sadness or sorrow or self-loathing feels like. They're just so unaware. And I can't really describe myself in that regard, because I've never felt void of self-loathing in any sense. There's always been kind of an underlying voice, kind of saying you're a piece of shit. And I don't know, sure, yeah, maybe that's not healthy, but I would argue too that could be a fundamental facet of, it certainly feels like a fundamental part of my existence is, not even really a little voice, but just almost a little invisible motivation towards, man, do this so you don't feel like as much of a piece of shit, or you're a piece of shit, do this instead. And again, it's not a loud booming voice in my head at all times. Oh, you are a piece of garbage. No, it's just the tendency for me to do things towards, knowing that if I don't do that, I'm going to feel like a piece of shit. And maybe it's just, I don't know, this self-loathing barometer that is inside of me. It calls me to question whether or not I do things because for any other reason, really. It's possible that the only reason I do anything is to limit the amount I hate myself. So I don't know, maybe that says more about me than it does about anything else. But I would call bullshit on people that claim, either I call bullshit or they're just dumb that they're like, oh, everything is so happy, wonderful, so elated all the time to everything. It's like, I fucking hate those people. And I'm sorry. I wish I was, fucking Jerry and could be so blissfully happy about everything all the time, but I'm not. And no matter how much be happy, just be grateful. It's like, have you ever tried doing that? It doesn't work at all, okay? Try relaxing, try being happy. It doesn't fucking work. That not at all. The whole point of those things is it's an effortless thing. And if you're actually trying to do such a thing, it doesn't fucking work. Now, certainly there are things to be said about not being so uptight. And I certainly I don't think I'm uptight at all. I mean, my whole fucking catchphrase is I don't give a fuck about nothing, which I try to embody that to a pretty good extent. I mean, I truly don't care about a lot of shit that people are up in arms about. And I tend to get more animated about stuff that is fucking pointless. I mean, I get animated about stupid philosophies that nobody cares about in these videos. I think that's a testament to the fact that most other stuff that I couldn't be bothered with. So it's not like I'm uptight. I'm not a very high-strung person. I don't get super anxious about random stuff like other people do. And I'm sure maybe that's a certain part of that is genetic. But dude, I would not fault me either for not having this elated sense of joy about everything. And again, maybe having that strong urge of self-loathing underneath, the veneer of everything else. Which I would consider, maybe it's not a fundamental part of humanity holistically, but could be a part of my humanity regardless. Because I've never, ever since I've been, I guess, self-conscious and aware of my existence beyond just, taking dumps and playing, I don't know, doing Legos when I was a kid or something. Beyond that, and at any point I've developed a kind of self-awareness. I've never not felt that, right? And there's times where I can forget about things, but there isn't like this, I'm all of a sudden past this point of nirvana. I don't ever expect to be at this point where every second of my life is just so effortless and orgasmic. Fuck those people. Anyone that claims that not only that they've achieved that, which I call just delusion, or anyone that claims that you can do the same, just do whatever. It's a get rich quick scheme, except for your emotional well-being. It just doesn't exist. You can't do it. It doesn't matter how hard you try or whatever. It doesn't work like that. So I don't know. I just want to I guess detest the people that run around peddling that. I don't know. Everyone's got their own problems. Everyone's got their own psychologies. They should all deal with them independently. And if you're somebody that is able to somehow conquer their self-loathing and to a point where they love themselves so much all the time at everything, great. Let your body balloon up into something horrible, and don't charge me for your medical bills because I'm not paying you. But I'm gonna go to the gym anyway. I don't care if it's out of self-loathing or whatever. But maybe it is, maybe it's not. Regardless, I think it's good for me, and it's good for people to look at me. There's something to be said about certain people might look okay, a bit larger, but certain other people don't. And I would tend to argue that many people look better thinner, and of course that's fat phobic probably, but I'm sure I don't really care. I think I've been openly fat phobic before on these videos, and I suppose the cat's out of the bag at this point. And honestly, I could just blame it on AI, because let's be honest, AI could probably make these videos. And it's actually what I was thinking about, something kind of a little related. So I talked about the human validation part, and we're going to run into this technical challenge of trying to validate humans. And I was trying to brainstorm solutions. And I guess one very low-tech solution that isn't really a solution wholeheartedly, but I could start like PGP signing all of my stuff that would at least let you authenticate that this came from like my device or from that key pairing. And I'm not saying that wouldn't even really be that strong of a solution. But I've thought about maybe I should just start PGP signing everything just so that not that anyone gives a fuck whether it's me or not. I mean, for God's sakes, nobody watches these. But I don't know. I just thought it would be interesting, even just an exercise for myself, so that when the bots take over or whatever, they at least know, okay, this guy's putting some effort into trying to be legitimate. And I hope if nothing else, this at least seems human. Because at a certain point, I'm sure I'll be put in YouTube's gulag of enough people start watching, and engaging in wrong think, or even, I'm sorry, engaging in thinking. I don't even call this wrong. This is called thinking. Maybe not. I don't know, depending on what level of intellectual consciousness you've ascended to, but allow a mere mortal to think for a moment about something. So anyway, yeah, I thought about PGP kind of signing everything just for authentication, but I don't know, maybe it doesn't matter, maybe it does. So regardless, I don't know, AI generated content. What do I think? Well, what was I thinking? Oh, that's right. I mean, I think we've kind of already, I don't know, I kind of treat most of the internet stuff as garbage. And I've already said that I think the median, like if you look at the pieces of internet information as a bell curve, I think the bell curve, this is like quality is on one axis and like the amount of information is on the other. So like the amount of information is obviously still increasing, but I would argue that the quality, so like the tip of the curve is shifting lower to a lower quality, but the curve is still widening, meaning that the highest quality information is still getting better. Like I've said that, and I still believe that. What I think would happen, and I don't know whether the increase will be linear or exponential or logarithmic in nature. I haven't really thought much about the math of it. But I think that that motion of the bell curve getting taller towards the bottom end of quality and stretching out. I wish I could visualize this in a way, but hopefully, if you know what a bell curve looks like, you can think about this. The median will still shift lower, so the average piece of information will get shittier. But I still think the extremes will get better. And now you might be arguing, well, AI is like, it's a good, it's really good at like English and stuff. And yeah, it's got very good handle on, especially like the English language. I can't attest for other languages, but that's, just me. So you might be thinking, well, the explanations for stuff will get better. And I think if you factor in, I hate using this word, but like the fake news and just hallucinations. Geez, my words are all over the place. Sure, it might sound really correct, but the hallucinations will just make it sound more, but still it's still bullshit, right? It's still a complete lie, whatever it is. So I still would not argue that. And also the thing is, sure, the AI is capable of generating very nuanced and thoughtful things, again, if prompted correctly. But if we imagine this democratization of AI technology, the average person using it will give it average prompts that will result in just shit, right? Like the people who are really good at prompting will still get really, really good results, and that will still contribute to the end of the bell curve, which I'm saying is expanding. So we'll still get better at the tail ends, or at the good tail end. But the dumbasses that are setting up bot farms and Amazon GPT stores or whatever, they're still morons that are the ones doing that, and they're the ones prompting, and they're not going to get the best out of the AI by prompting, because you can get better stuff out of the AI if you prompt it right. But those aren't, if the average person is prompting it, which I'm saying there's going to be more average people than there's not by definition, you're going to get a lot more of this average junk information. So again, I think that the volume under the bell curve will still increase, so the bell curve will kind of expand, in all directions. But the tip, meaning the part where there's the highest amount of information, will still skew lower. So the median information will still decrease. The average will get worse. However, the ones at the extremes will still get better. Now it'll get more and more difficult, and I think there will be perhaps a revival of more indie style, I don't know, peer-to-peer type communities, I'll say, and I'm using all that very loosely because who knows what the fuck that means. I'm not sure what role different technologies will have in this whole paradigm, but that's kind of my general prediction I have around AI. There are many more, like I've mentioned before, like the creation of more bullshit jobs, not necessarily fewer jobs. Now, one could extrapolate probably fewer jobs, yes, but I think corporations still have to benefit from us being employed and getting paid, because that's how they get paid, is if we spend all our money. At a certain point, we can't go into any more debt as individuals. So they'll have to make up jobs for us to do. And I think we'll be doing just more and more, sure, there might be less jobs, but there will certainly be less useful jobs. The jobs we'll be doing will be fucking so stupid that I can't even fathom. I mean, even the jobs now, like the product manager jobs and all this other shit, what are these people doing? Like, this is beyond pointless. I don't think I can go a day doing this. I legitimately don't think I could go one day doing your job. Not because I couldn't handle it technically, or I couldn't, fuck my way around through a meeting or some dumb shit like that. But I mean, certainly you have to just be blatantly unaware of how fucking pointless the whole position is. Not only like, even your company is probably pointless, but this position is beyond pointless. And the fact that anyone gets meaning out of it is laughable to me. I just can't imagine. I feel sorry for anyone that finds meaning in these pointless jobs, but I suppose you got to find meaning in something. And whether it's Linux and Minecraft shit posting on the internet, or a bullshit job, product manager at some stupid tech company, that I suppose to each their own. I shouldn't be one to judge, but at a certain point, I kind of have to judge a little bit. So I don't know, but I do think we will have more and more bullshit jobs. So yeah. Anyway, I'll wrap it up for today. I'm gonna finish mining this tree. Also, as a closing remark too, some people mentioned, one person, I'm not gonna say several people, but getting these on alternative platforms, because I'll probably get banned. And they're right, I probably will get banned at some point. That's fine. I did post some other videos on Odyssey, but I thought their underlying currency went bankrupt. Like the library protocol went bankrupt because they got sued by the SEC. I'm not really sure if there's a way I can post maybe at least the audio on this, because the video is not that important. Maybe I'll put that on some alternative platform at some point later, but I'll be honest, nobody watches these and no one really cares. So until I and I have them on my own computer for my own archival sake, and that's kind of the whole point, is that in 20 years I can look back and go, oh, what was I thinking? Well, this is what I was thinking. Here's 70 hours of unedited content. It's exactly what I'm thinking. So anyway, I don't know, maybe I'll think about doing that later, but thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.